Welcome to the Caribe report, special report here on Kalaloo Alliance Media, our TV network. Today, we bring you an exclusive special report on a game-changing development here, and we have our press conference to speak to the happenings of the Connect Caribe and Kalaloo Alliance Media and the great work that is happening here. But before I do, I want us to just go to a quick commercial break. Mia, let's go to a quick commercial break. Thank you again. Good morning and welcome to this Connect Caribe special report. I'm Jennifer Hyland, along with Caroline Hull, CDK's Managing Director and Team Leader in the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia DMV area. It's great to have Caroline here with me. She's going to be joining me in a minute, but we're thrilled to bring you this exclusive broadcast announcing significant developments that mark a new chapter for economic connectivity and opportunity in the USVI. If we can bring Caroline on the screen.
Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is absolutely so exciting because today we're going to be spotlighting key milestones as Connect Caribe expands its footprint and its impact with a focus on the United States Virgin Islands. And it's super exciting as we look forward to this in this very special update.
Thank you, Caroline. Well, this establishment of Pleon Group USVI, we're going to be speaking to that, and it's going to be setting the stage for enhanced regional collaboration with the USVI and the rest of the Caribbean. We're looking forward to hearing remarks from Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas. What else are we expecting in the special report, Caroline?
Thank you. We're looking forward to the introduction of the Connect Caribe St. Croix USVI interface, which is a new digital gateway connecting stakeholders across the region.
Absolutely. And coming up, we have Connect Caribe eShop and the Kuming Marketplace. It's an exciting e-commerce partnership, creating new opportunities for businesses and consumers alike. And to speak and to give remarks on that, we have the president of the e-commerce division of Connect Caribe Ferry Service. He's going to be speaking to that development.
That's fantastic. In addition, we have the unveiling of the Frederiksted Hub, the Connect Caribe's official satellite office serving St. Croix and the greater region. Additionally, finally, we're going to preview the very, very exciting, very impactful 2025 Caribbean America's Single Economy Economic Investment Summit, which is hosted in partnership with SETI Case. So this is going to be officially unveiled.
Well, stay with us. We're going to just go for another quick commercial break here, but stay with us here on Connect Caribe Special Report as we bring you these updates and what they mean for economic growth, innovation, and cross-Caribbean cooperation. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Reimagine a world where the Caribbean is seamlessly connected, where our people, our cultures, and our economies move freely across the islands. This is Connect Caribe. More than a ferry service, it's the heartbeat of a new era, an era where economic opportunities expand, where trade flows freely across our seas, and cultural exchange flourishes. We are linking businesses, empowering communities, and reigniting the hope for a truly integrated Caribbean. Together, we're shaping a brighter, more unified future for the Caribbean. Connect Caribe, connecting our islands, our people, our future.
For joining us here on Connect Caribe Special Report, and joining us right now is the chairman and CEO of the Pleon Group, Inc., which is a parent company for Connect Caribe Regional Ferry Service, and he's going to make a few remarks on the establishment of the Pleon Group USVI. Over to you, Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I say good morning to all our esteemed partners. We are absolutely excited as a team to announce the creation of Playan Group U.S. Virgin Islands. And this entity has hit the ground running. And we will be announcing today the JV partnership with the Cumin Mall, where we will be, with our Connect eShops brand, be able to offer e-commerce services. And what's exciting is this is the first phase of it, and in the next phase, we will be launching it from CARICOM. So this is unprecedented, and this is a bold, visionary step to create an economic trading zone within CARICOM, but connecting it to the U.S. through the U.S. Virgin Islands. And we should have done this much earlier, but good things are happening now. So we are very, very excited about this. And we're also excited about the establishment of the Connect Caribe hub in the USVI. And also very excited about the fact that we are going to begin distribution of products. And so we're very excited about that. So looking forward to a great 2025 with our partners in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Thank you.
Let's bring John McClendon, the founder of the IC Group, just to speak a little bit about what he expects, what's the implications for this new establishment, Playan Group USVI. Mr. McClendon?
Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you, and good morning to our listeners. It's an exciting day indeed as we look at how do we juxtapose all of these different ideas together here in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we welcome Playan Group and their establishment of a company here, and they will be part of what we are calling the Frederiksted Hub. So within IC Group, we have the IC hosting capability with data centers and network operations centers that we will use our economic development benefits that we have to distribute software and licenses throughout the Caribbean. And we will use our expertise in supply chain and logistics to look at how are the business process methodologies employed as we connect the Caribbean with ferry boat service, air services, the movement of transportation of goods and also of people. So at the Frederiksted Hub, what we've done, we've acquired a building, and it has spaces and office spaces that we've really just renovated. And we have partner spaces for our partners to be able to use those spaces, a conference room. We actually have guest facilities so people can stay overnight when they're visiting St. Croix. It's an ideal location across from the port at 2B King Street, and it's an exciting opportunity as we partner with SETI Case and Playan Group and others as a partnership in the Frederiksted Hub, where we will offer workforce development classes, we'll offer technology support, and we will be that hub of activities supporting our license with the World Trade Center organization as we do global trade and integrate with what's happening in the government of the Virgin Islands. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mr. McClendon of the IC Group, giving his contribution to the implications of the new Playan Group USVI that has been established. Thank you, Ambassador Thomas and John McClendon. But coming up, we have Mr. Anthony Hinkson. He's going to give a few remarks. He's the president of the Connect Caribe e-commerce division, and he's going to speak to the launch of the Connect Caribe eShop and the Cumin Marketplace, an exciting e-commerce partnership. So over to you, Mr. Hinkson, to give your remarks.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Good morning to everyone. It is an exciting time for the USVI and for CARICOM. From the CARICOM perspective, we see in 2024 approximately $4 billion in foreign exchange going out of our region. And that is because we've got products which cannot be sourced locally. So you've got your electronics, you've got your vehicle parts, all these sorts of things can't be sourced in the region. But then there are lots of small and medium enterprises which do have products. And so we're looking to enable small and medium enterprises inside of the USVI and within CARICOM to have an exposure to the entire Caribbean market. We are really excited at what this will mean for regional growth, for the increase in vulnerable people being able to access funding, being able to access a greater economic impact. So these are really exciting times. There is going to be the launch of the Cumin Mall e-commerce platform, and that will be allowing for goods to be brought down from, as we said earlier, from the US, but it will also then be giving a potential for Caribbean entrepreneurs to actually have their products being sourced from the inside the US. So it is a really exciting time. Stay tuned for more developments in this area. Back to you, Jen.
Specifically, John, but Dr. Thomas, you can chime in. Could you give us the USVI perspective on basically what Mr. Hinkson just mentioned, this expectation of opportunities for businesses in the USVI? What are USVI businesses can expect from this new partnership?
Well, as John comes in, I would share that we, from a Plium perspective, really see that this is a golden opportunity to connect the $52 billion in trade with the region between the US and the Caribbean, and create an opportunity for more small businesses and medium-sized businesses to participate in it. I believe this gives a great opportunity for that, and I'll have John now speak.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador. It's that's the exciting part for me personally. We came to the islands and earned our economic development benefits some 20 years ago, and we are now actually just being able to do the supply chain logistics integration that we envisioned so long ago when I came back home to the territory. The different components of how we take advantage of the extraordinary fiber, 8 times the capacity of Silicon Valley, that's here, and our economic environment. We've coined the term Silicon Island. And as we go through our substantial growth that comes from, unfortunately, the demise that happened here during hurricanes Irma and Maria, we now have billions of dollars of economic development that is changing the nature of the territory, particularly with our airports. So when we look at our port facilities, the airport facilities, and understand that the strategic benefits, such as exemption from the Jones Act that we have here, and the economic development benefits of businesses that come here, small and medium-sized companies can then use the Virgin Islands as a hub in St. Croix, coupled with the hub in Barbados and the hub in Trinidad and Tobago. That enables us to take the vision that was done with the Caribbean Basin Initiative and actually act as the United States' third border. So as that third border, we can integrate the diaspora of the Caribbean nations into our hub and then get the goods and services to support food insecurity, to support disaster relief, to be able to get small businesses that don't have the economies of scale in their own island nations to be able to participate in this Caribbean economic environment. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and John McClendon. I'm going to introduce James Legato. He's the president, founder, and manager of Integrity Advisors. I'm going to just read a little bit of his bio. This is the first time he's appearing on Connect Caribbean Report. So those of you who may not be familiar with James, he's a dynamic and results-oriented business leader with extensive experience in corporate strategy, financial modeling, and business development. founder and manager of Centegrity LLC and Centegrity Advisors, with a proven track record of providing strategic counsel to diverse companies and investment funds across the Americas and Europe, adept at driving growth and operational excellence in various industries, including technology, finance, and consumer products. There's more you can learn about James, but he's going to make a few remarks, um, basically providing uh, endorsement, if you will, of the establishment of this partnership. And he's going to speak to the importance of digital technology for the advancement of the USVI economy and any other remarks that he deems necessary with regards to the happenings with respect to Cleon Group Inc. and USVI establishing there in USVI. So over to you, Mr. Lagato. You can make your remarks.
Good morning, Jennifer. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the introduction. You're very kind. I want to echo what most of the speakers said and the benefits, specifically about the points that Ambassador Thomas made and John made. I see tremendous opportunity in the UVI, specifically at St. Croix, basically to be a gateway to the United States for the region. So, I look at, you mentioned my background in technology. I have an extensive background in technology going back to the 1980s. And, utilizing the infrastructure that's there to basically build around it. So you're looking at the e-commerce components. I see other opportunities as well, sort of underpinning other industry that can move to the island. We've discussed food security for the region by doing indoor grow, vertical growing on the island, and again using technology in all areas, logistically, as well as consumer products, and not to mention technology itself. So I could see the island becoming sort of a nearshore, offshore development group, software development group, incubating companies, and providing the platform for companies to operate in the United States, but on the island. I don't know if that gives you an idea of my feelings on what I've heard. In speaking to Anthony, I've realized that this partnership really brings it together, creates sort of a gateway, like I said, a gateway to the United States in the region.
Thank you very much, James Zagato, for your contribution. I'm just going to bring John in and Anthony if he wants to join at this point, but definitely, John, could you give a few remarks to Mr. Legato's contribution and obviously the perspective from the USVI side?
Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, this is a extraordinary development, as we say. The bringing in James and his expertise as one of the people that are part of the SETI case group. We each have our different lanes of what we do. And I'm sure Anthony will talk later about the Alexander Hamilton Fund, but that gives us a broad capability that links all of these things, as James mentioned, together. Because if we have the Frederiksted Hub, which houses the incubation of new businesses, which is actually an extension of what we had developed when I was back on the senior faculty at Harvard Business School. We did Harvard startups with MIT and Northeastern and Boston College in order to incubate small businesses during the dot-com era. If we have that same ability, instead of attracting outside companies to come to the Virgin Islands, we will look at startup opportunities and let people come, host their servers here, do their businesses here, grow the businesses here that tie into the different economics environment. So the vertical growing that James mentioned, we have an affiliate called Skyscraper Farms, where we do less water and create hurricane-proof shelters for growing of the crops for that food insecurity. But that hub here, with the expansion of the airport and building warehouses, cold storage warehouses, we're able to actually move the logistics of this vision that Anthony has had for the connecting the Caribbean, and Dr. Thomas with Connect Caribe and the Pillion Group. Those things now come together in an economy of scale that we have not seen before in the Virgin Islands.
Yeah, I'll mention the idea of the duty-free zone as well is a huge opportunity for companies that are not in the region to come to the region to be able to export closer to their potential constituencies. So within the region of the northern parts of South America, the Caribbean, and Central America, I think that there's tremendous opportunity.
Happy holidays, everyone. I am truly elated where we are at this moment, at this place and time in our history. We have what we've accomplished in short order. And when you think of the milestone and the critical timeline and how we got here, uh, in essence, what we are literally uh, seeing is a transformation on a macro level and a micro level. And finally, really positioning the U.S. Virgin Islands in its unique role that is rightly is supposed to play and should have been playing for a very long time. And as James said it earlier, what makes this possible is the advent of technology, innovation. It allows us to be able to integrate and scale in a manner that we've never done before. And so when you talk about, you know, why today we're making this announcement, because what we're celebrating in the truest form and essence, the first multinational regional collaboration between all of the multinational countries in CARICOM, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the United States. This is truly a multinational enterprise, and it's going to reflect and speak to that transformation. We literally have three major pillars. It is the SETI case, Port St. Croix Transportation Hub and Supply Chain Logistics, with all our partners like IC Logistics and others in that space. There's the case capital market formation and structure, speaking of the money supply and the movement of money and the formation and structure of capital and investment in the region. And of course, the third pillar is the transformation of the region, leveraging technology and making this a technology hub and brand it as the acapella in terms of a global ecosystem. On the call, we have on the U.S. Virgin Islands side, we have team members. We have James Legato, who you just heard from. We have the managing director of Grant of Cornhusker Group, which is the investment banking arm of Case Capital Market. Okay. Then we have Van Roy Hosier. He is the founder CEO of Cumin. Cumin, the marketplace, is that platform that's going to work collectively, collaboratively, in exchange with the Connect Caribe e-commerce platform. So you're going to hear something a little bit from our partners and the team from the U.S. and the U.S. Virgin Onsite, and we're truly excited that we've activated, we've implemented. We're not waiting for the long play to take place. We're now taking advantage of the low-hanging fruit and those things that we can put in place now for operational purposes.
Thank you for joining us, Carolyn. I'm going to hand over to Carolyn for the second half, and then we'll come back and we'll have a discussion among the team to speak to any additional comments, questions that we may have if we don't have reporters in at the moment. So I'm going to hand over to Carolyn for this second.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We've actually been listening to Anthony Weeks, but let me give you a little bit of background on him for those who are not familiar. Anthony is the co-founder, president, CEO, and managing director of SETI Case. That's a wonderful acronym. he is the Special Economic Envoy de facto ambassador to Taiwan and the Asia Pacific region, and the founder executive producer of the Callaloo Alliance Media, which is our TV network, and so many others. So we're excited as Anthony speaks that we're going to hear lots of different vantage points, obviously because of his experience, etc. But one thing I'd like to invite him to talk about right now is the unveiling of this Frederiksted hub, which is the Connect Caribe's official satellite office serving St. Croix and the greater region. Anthony, are you able to speak to that?
Absolutely, Carolyn. Thank you so much for that, Carolyn. Carolyn, thank you for all you do, being a managing director, team leader for SteadyCase in the Washington, Maryland, Virginia area. Thank you for all that you do. You are a dynamic, very powerful woman in business as the founder and CEO of Events, all that you do. You know, a lot of what we talk about, how did we get here? Earlier, I mentioned transformation. Transformation on a macro level, at 35,000 feet level, and micro. The establishment in partnership with IC Logistics, IC Group, of establishing the Frederiksted Hub, the World Trade Center in downtown Frederiksted, is going to be that catalyst that's going to bring about that economic revitalization from a multinational perspective. This is a multinational enterprise. We are going to open up the spigot. We're going to open up the channels of trade and commerce and the movement of capital. This is what this means. But how did we get here? A critical timeline of when I first introduced the Virgin Islands Stock Exchange back in 2006. That was the genesis of the Virgin Islands Stock Exchange and this mission that I've been on. That was phase one. Phase two, from 2018 to 2023, relationship building through research and development, R&D, laying the groundwork and the foundation for building where we are today. I apologize for that noise in the background. Phase three is from 2023 to 2024 is the roadshow where we literally went on the road and we told the story and that unique proposition of what we can do and how we can make a difference in a big way. We may be a small landmass, but we carry a big stick. And it's time that we understand that missed opportunities are lost economy. I've coined that phrase 20 years ago, and today it is much as relevant back then as it is today. Lost opportunities, missed economies, and we're no longer going to allow that to be the case. And so today is the implementation and the building block and the activation of all of those components and elements that's going to put St. Croix literally, virtually, on the regional map in terms of the role and the uniqueness that it has to play, Carolyn.
For speaking to that, and you got a little bit into the financial piece as it relates to the Case Capital Markets Foundation formation and structure investment banking team and the Alexander Hamilton Fund manager that has been established and launched. Can you speak to that, please?
Sure. I'd like to bring in Grant and John, please. And also James as well. James, okay. So these gentlemen are very critical to the Case Capital Market formation and structure. Why? Because we talk about just the money supply, the movement of money, how you format and structure capital. In other words, how do you attract investment capital for the projects? One of the challenges the Caribbean region has, or small island economies, is because we don't have the critical mass, so we don't have the economy of scale to make that argument independent of each other. But what we're going to do, by virtue of us being both the U.S. and being a U.S. territory, our status and take a little bit of this, a little bit of that to be able to do that. On the screen is our partner from Cornhusker. They were ranked as one of the top 25 investment banking firm in the United States. And Grant, I want to thank you for your commitment to this endeavor. We look forward to your responsibility for helping to mold and form capital and to be able to fund the various projects. Anything you'd like to say briefly, please?
Absolutely. First, our commitment at Cornhusker Capital is to leverage our extensive experience, as you alluded to, and the network we support the developments of this new financial ecosystem. And we aim to facilitate seamless access to both debt and equity financing, empowering these businesses to scale and enhance stakeholder value. We see this as an initiative not merely about financial transactions, but to represent a strategic integration of capital markets, technology, and transportation to open new market opportunities for local businesses in the Caribbean. This partnership fosters trade relations and economic integration, positioning the U.S. Virgin Islands as a pivotal hub in the global financial arena. And we are excited about the future and the role of the CASE capital markets funding, which will play a driving sustainable economic development. And we feel together we're building a resilient and dynamic financial infrastructure that will serve as a catalyst for years to come for innovation and prosperity across the region.
Great.
Thank you so much for that. Carolyn Grant is one of our advisory board member, as well as a managing director. So is James Lagarde. James is a very humble person, but he carries his CV is pretty extensive. He talks about technology a lot, and that's because of the role he played in terms of NASDAQ and the Euronext and helping to set that up in Europe. James, can you please talk a little bit about the financial side and technology and what role you played in the facilitation of NASDAQ and Euronext, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that, Anthony. Yeah, so my firm was based in New York City, specializing in finance technology, specifically in finance. And we worked very closely with leadership at NASDAQ under the guidance of Gregor Baylor, who was then the CIO EVP for NASDAQ. And worked with them on several projects. They were a decimalization project, their supermontage project, and then subsequently their branding, their outside branding projects, which were to take the NASDAQ name brand to other markets around the world. So Osaka, Japan was one of the markets. We did a small branding deal with the DAX. We looked at other markets in different areas of the world. We looked at India about doing a collaborative national there. We looked in South America with the Bovespa to do something there, but it ended up not being as prolific as they wanted it to be, I guess. With regard to the Euronext, my firm actually wrote what was called Clearstream, which was the predecessor to Euronext. It was a clearance and settlement system for the European trading environment. And at the NASDAQ, in cooperation with Stockwatch, we wrote a trade surveillance system that basically looked at all trades to assure accuracy, continuity, and so on and so forth. So we had a fairly extensive experience in that space. We started really on the real-time data side, working with Telerate and Quotron and some old names that you guys may or may not remember from back in the day, and providing their services. And even Bloomberg, when Bloomberg was just standalone terminals, my engineers were figuring out how to share that data across the environment, which Bloomberg wasn't too happy with. But then they asked us how we did it. So yeah, so we come from that DNA, so to speak. And when I look at what the IC group has done on the island with regard to the infrastructure there, I think that it's waiting for something to happen in a really meaningful way on the and again, I believe technology, the utilization of technology is an application. People talk about AI and they talk about blockchain, and theirs are great, but they're great for specific applications. They're not great for everything. And so I think that there's an opportunity to really do something there. It's the United States, and it's situated in the middle of all these other countries. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to take advantage of that.
And here's why IC Group as a partner is going to be so vital to this. The Frederickstead hub we're in is going to be branded the World Trade Center. Okay. And before I have John say something, let me just kind of connect the two. When you have Grant, who is the investment banker, whenever governments want to raise capital to build bridges and schools and highways, they need an investment banker to underwrite that capital raise. Okay. The U.S. Virgin Islands recently we adopted the Uniform Securities Act. What does that mean? Now that we have established this multinational enterprise, it means companies coming from the region doing business in the U.S. Virgin Islands as a U.S. territory with the United States, they can come now here and set up and go public because of the adoption of the Uniform Securities Act. When you hear James talk about the NASDAQ and Euronext, it's the idea of how do we create that environment for structuring capital and helping whether governments, organizations, or corporations looking to raise capital for capital projects. John, who is an expert in the international scheme of things, supply chain logistics all over the world, establishing a World Trade Center here at Frederickstead House in downtown Frederickstead, it means we're able to do some creative things from a financial standpoint. And John, I want to kind of give people a little idea that we recently just secured a collateral asset partner that will provide $1.5 billion of collateral assets to support both public and private sector. John, you want to be able to jump in and talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure. And just to finish connecting the dots, as we often do in this show, the vision and this dream that I had some 30 years ago is now coming to fruition. So this isn't the overnight success of an entrepreneur. This is something that's taken a long time to mature. And so when we talk about this integrated supply chain, 30 years ago, as a member of the SCORE team, which is a supply chain operational reference model that was developed by particularly Rabin, Todd, and McGrath, as that STORE model, we changed the notion of supply chains by function into supply chains by process. So 30 years ago, and we've been emerging ever since then, because some people still can cling to suppliers and manufacturing and distribution and logistics, which has now been overcome, and we're trying to talk in terms of build operations and how the supply chain works together. There are three legs to the stool of the supply chain. There's the movement of assets that we understand, and they have to be done in an international way. There's the movement of money, and there's the movement of information. And the movement of information, I believe, is the critical part, because each country under the United Nations Single Window Initiative has border police, final sanitary, weights and measures, customs, and each of these systems have different legacy environments, like ASACUDA or the UN systems. Those systems are not compatible. So it's not really a single window. It's a greenhouse effect of how do all of these countries work together with the information flows. So the first, what we wanted to focus on is ISO logistics when we had this global scenario, and we worked for 10 years in the Balkans on Quarter 10, working on how do you exchange data in the Greek alphabet, in Cyrillic, in the different border agencies going up Quarter 10, and we have a solution and software that does that. So we're bringing that software capability to all of the countries in the Caribbean to have this hub. This central hub with the World Trade Center environment, and we've talked about Mr. Weeks's role as the envoy ambassador to Taiwan. We've been going there for almost a decade, and we have a relationship with the World Trade Center Taiwan that has 20,000 suppliers that want to do business in the United States. That hub then ties to our supply chain center of regional excellence that we're developing here, with a supply chain center of regional excellence that we're doing in New York at Stewart Airport. So that connects the physical logistics of the transformation with warehousing, with cold storage warehousing that supports the disaster relief and the food insecurity. So by bringing in the now funding, which is capable, the thing that I want to stress is that this is a private sector initiative. We've been working on the Virgin Islands since I came back here, my partners and I, with the first concept that we did in 2005 called the Virgin Islands Internet Infrastructure Initiative, of what infrastructure has to happen in order for us to do that. In the National Research Council, I was one of the co-authors. We wrote a book called Surviving Supply Chain Integration in the 21st Century for Small and Medium-Sized Manufacturers. That is now, it's taken 20 years, but it's now happening. And we are focused here on the small and medium-sized manufacturers, the core of our economy, to be able to do that. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And with this funding now that we have as an asset, we look toward to Grant and James, because we have to monetize that asset and we have to be able to leverage those things going into the future. And we now have all those components located in a building that I've looked to get for 15 years. It's a premier location right next to the pier, across from the port. And we have all of those aspects now to be able to do that. And so I'm excited because what we do is important and what we do makes a difference.
Thank you so much.
And John,
Thank
what I'd
you
like,
very much, John.
yes,
Anthony, I'm sorry.
Carolyn, what I'd like to do, Leanne, if we can bring up Van Roy Hosier for a second, please, if you can put him on the screen, because I'm connecting the dots, putting it all together. Okay, strategically over the past 20 years, I looked at St. Croix and how St. Croix was situated. You have two towns, Christiansted and Frederiksted. So Christiansted is going to be the financial center. Frederiksted is going to be the World Trade Center. And the middle island is going to be Port St. Croix. So the entire breadth and scope of the island is going to play an important role in this new ecosystem and integration throughout the region. Brandywine Hosier is the founder and CEO of Cumin and the partnership of Cumin Marketplace. He is a Virgin Islander. He is a Delta pilot by training, but he's invested in create this e-commerce platform. And that e-commerce platform is going to play an important role in how we open markets on both sides of the equation for local businesses to exchange and trade and commerce in the region. Brandywine, if you can go speak briefly about you being a Virgin Islander, being a Virgin Islands corporation, and creating the Cumin platform.
Good morning, everyone. And once again, it's good to be here. Thanks, Anthony. Guys, as a Virgin Islander, and of course, having spent most of my time here in Atlanta with Delta Airlines and so forth, just coming back to the Virgin Islands and seeing the realization of this dream that we have talked about for many years in terms of bringing the Virgin Islands into that leadership role in the Caribbean, not only in trade, travel, and logistics, but just basically the connectivity to all that island in the Caribbean. I'm glad to be able to say, hey, I was trying to do this for quite a while, and we're at that stage right now where we're pretty much there. The platform is up. We can have the connectivity. We have the server capabilities and the ability to cross not only language, but also currency and culture. All the different things that happens in this region is not very homogeneous, but I think we have a good team together right now. I think, guys, we have a very strong possibility of bringing all this stuff together and get together. I'm happy that in terms of commerce and payments and logistics, that's where we are right now as an organization. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you to making this a reality. Anthony?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you so very, very much. And Anthony, sorry for cutting you off. It is exciting. You can see the level of energy that we have here. And all of this is going to culminate in something really special. So obviously, you would love to be able to talk to Grant or John or James, as well as Anthony and others here on the screen. How can you do that? What can you find out? Well, we are having the Caribbean American Single Economy Investment Summit coming up. Mark your calendars. It is Monday, April 7th, 2025. This is going to take place at the Alan B. Levan Center of Innovation at Florida NSU campus. And it is exciting. We're going to be launching the website where you can get more information. You can actually purchase tickets to attend if you'd like to vend or showcase. But listening to the gentleman who just spoke, everybody is bringing something different to the table. This is a powerful group, as the gentleman just said, very, very powerful group. So, how can you find out? And the agenda, just a quick overview. We're going to have Anthony Weeks, who has been a visionary of this, going on 3 decades, perhaps even longer, who is going to welcome us and let us know what makes this investment summit different than others. This is not your classical investment summit. Right after that, we're going to have a discussion around the power of partnerships, where we will have Ambassador Andrea Thomas come in and talk about Connect Caribe and what the implications are there. Also, Raphael DeAngelis. Next, we're going to be talking about the U.S. Strategic Engagement Act, which is the catalyst to growth for all of this. This is what puts this together and makes it possible for us. So we'll be bringing in certain politicos, congressmen, etc., to come to talk about why this is so important and why this gives us the impetus to be able to move forward. And then, of course, the legalities. How can you do business? If you see this, if you want to be a part of this initiative, be a part of all of this programming, we'll be talking about the legal framework of doing business in the region. After that, we're going to have discussions, deep discussions and matchmaking around, how we can make this possible. But one question that always comes up is the workforce. So we've got creative discussions that would involve the USVI, Department of Labor and Workforce Development, but even more creatively, how education can be a part of this. So this workforce development piece is going to be vibrant. If you're an entrepreneur, an employer, or want to be one, how you can have the workforce that you need in the region carrying out these things. And then where would we be without technology? The summit is going to focus on the greenfield opportunity here, because when you think about this, St. Croix in particular, the U.S. Virgin Islands, it is the second largest fiber optic network, second to New York globally. So the vibrant information, we talked to James Lagana and he was speaking about just what he's done there. Then we'll finally conclude that first day, which is Monday, April 7th. We're going to invite you on Tuesday to travel with us to the United States Virgin Islands to St. Croix. And we will use Tuesday as a travel day. And then Wednesday, we will reconvene for some powerful information sessions, followed by tours and site visits to some of these dynamic places we've talked about, ending it up with a networking reception so that you can make those connections that you need for the collaboration. And I'm telling you, this investment summit is going to be one for the ages. All of the exciting things that everyone has talked about, if we can bring them back in just to kind of weigh in on all of this, I invite you to do so.
Carolyn, seems like this is going to be a very exciting and timely summit. But in the last 5 minutes of the Connect Caribbean special report, I want to bring back Mr. Hinkson, having met the founder of Kuming. And if you can bring, I want to speak to Van Roy and Chairman and CEO, Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas and Mr. Hinkson. We really just touched very briefly on the potential of the Connect Caribbean shops working in partnership with Kuming. So can we enlighten those who may have joined the special report a little later? Could you recap and just bring these three gentlemen on the screen and let's hear what can entrepreneurs and persons who are looking to expand and trade and access the wider market across the Caribbean. Could you let them know what this really means, those who have joined others? Ambassador Thomas and Mr. Hinkson and Van Roy, founder and CEO of Kuming Park. Just recap and let us know what this means, this partnership.
Okay, I'll start. This partnership really provides a great opportunity for CARICOM businesses to trade within themselves and access larger markets in phase 2. But in phase 1, it allows CARICOM businesses to be able to connect and open up markets in the US, which is unprecedented. And so we're very, very excited about the partnership between the Cumin Mall and Connect eShops, and look forward to the amazing work that we can do together. And I'll have Anthony now speak.
Sure. As the current resident of the region and as someone who has been part of the diaspora living in the US for several years, being able to find Caribbean products locally in the US is a challenge. And so having a ecosystem which allows both your entrepreneurs and your medium established businesses to get products from as far south as Suriname and Guyana all the way up to expats living in the US and in New York. This is going to be a real economic boost for our small and medium enterprises. And then on the other side of that is the fact that this, as I spoken earlier, it's really a question of logistics. How do we actually get this done? And the partners that have come together to create this ecosystem are excellent, and this is the time to do it. We're seeing other major players looking at our marketplace and wanting to come in. As we said earlier, there is, as Dr. Thomas intimated, there's over $50 billion in trade moving back and forth in the region, and we want to allow our small and medium enterprises to get a hold of that. So what Van Roy has built, what we have built, and the connection between the two of these, we're gonna start to see an economy of scale develop for our entrepreneurs, and it can only redound in the financial success and economic success of our region. Van Roy?
Guys, well said. My position is sort of the same way, which is, when it comes to connectivity, I have decided that we're going to base our operation out of here in the Southeast, Georgia, with the leading airport, Port Savannah, and our recent partner of Caribbean International Shipping, which brings us 23 CARICOM countries connecting here in the Southeast, as well as our agreement here with Delta Airlines for air service. So we're offering everything to the Caribbean that they need, including fulfillment services with our UPS partners here in Atlanta. So I think that in terms of payments, we have all the currencies, we got the languages, we got the platform. We give everybody the opportunity to be able to put a shop up, do what they got to do. I'm really excited about what we're going to do with Connect Caribe in terms of inter-Caribbean connectivity, because we don't have enough of that going on right now. And to bring that, not only the big boys, but the smaller merchants into the marketplace and allow, like Anthony was saying, those small products, if they want to sell them in the US, then we can bring them in, we can store them, and we can ship them anywhere in the world from there. And as well, going back the other way toward the US. The only other part I want to add is that we do have a pretty significant operation that's going now in the trade zone in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, for DR products to come into the marketplace as well. So I think that the whole transportation logistic is coming together as we not only put the United States, but some of the other players that are not really big names in the region. So I'm looking forward to see how we can put the technology together. We got the shipping, we got logistics, we got payments, we have social media, we have connectivity, we got media. What else do we need, guys? I think everything is coming together really nice. I like it. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much for giving us that additional information on what USVI and the wider Caribbean can expect with this new partnership. And you may be wondering, so where can I get all of this information that was shared here today? We've created the Connect Caribbean USVI.com webpage interface. So you can just head on over to Connect Caribbean USVI.com, and all of the information that we would have shared here today, the key highlights of that information, you can go onto that website and learn more about the summit, learn more about Connect Caribbean, learn more about Pleon Group, the summit coming up, USVI, Frederick. Forgive me, I don't have that name open up here, but the new office that was created that we spoke to a little earlier. All of that information you can find on the website. I want to bring everyone back on the screen, but we want to thank you for joining us for this Connect Caribe special report, this exclusive broadcast announcing the significant developments that have marked a new chapter for economic connectivity and opportunity for the USVI and certainly for the wider Caribbean. They say the sky is the limit. We put together a really awesome team here, and you can continue to visit rtv.com. Our press releases will be on Connect Caribe as well. We'll continue to give updates over the holidays into next year, so you will know what's coming and where we are with the updates. So we want to thank you for joining us for this special report. Thank you, my co-host Carolyn, my anchor number 2, for bringing this special report. I want to thank Anthony Weeks, President and CEO of CD Case, founder and CEO of Cumin Corp, Van Roy Hosier. I want to thank Grant McGaw, he's the Senior Managing Director for Husker Capital. Thank you, Anthony Hickson, President of E-Commerce Division at Connect Caribe. And thank you, John Cledenin of the ICE Group, President and CEO. And thank you, Managing Partner James Lagotta of Integrity Advisors. And I don't think I'm leaving out anyone. Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas, Chairman and CEO of Connect Caribe. Cleon Group is the parent company for Connect Caribe, and he heads that corporate division there, Cleon Group and ConnectCaribe.com. And thank you, Caroline. She is the Managing Director over at the DMV area for SETI Case. And as I said, if you want to get more information, just head on over to ConnectCaribeUSVI.com. If you have any questions, if you want more information, just send us an email, and I believe that we have that email also on the website, and we'll be happy to answer any additional questions that you have. So thank you for joining us, and happy holidays. We'll see you next year as we start Connect Caribe report. Thank you everyone for joining us. Good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Welcome to our TV network, your ultimate destination for all things exciting and essential. From mouth-watering food to the latest in fashion, health, education, music, movies, and news, plus thrilling sports and breathtaking travel, our TV network brings it all to you. Tune in today and experience the best of every world, all in one place, rtv.network.